my team have a whole program of research looking at the MS prodrome. So what exactly is a prodrome? Well, we're looking at the early signs or symptoms indicating onset of a disease or illness. So in the context of multiple sclerosis, we're looking at before our classical understanding of MS symptom onset. Now, it's really interesting that if you look back at the historical literature, not so long ago, but books such as McAlpine's Multiple Sclerosis, an edition that was in press through until 2000, and they actually dismissed the possibility of there being an MS prodrome, which is a real shame, because if you look at the other literature, say on Parkinson's disease, it was quite clear that they were already investigating the possibility of a prodromal phase. So in Parkinson's disease today, it's well accepted they have a prodromal phase. They even have criteria where you could identify people with a certain certainty that they're in the prodromal phase for use in research purposes. So my team initiated a program of work some years ago. Our first paper was published Lancet Neurology 2017, but we also have work being presented here at ECTRIMS 2022. So in short, what did we set out to do? Well, we actually have been accessing our health administrative data in Canada, where we can link together all our hospital, physician and prescription information to look at the years leading up to MS onset. And we found that in people who go on to develop MS, relative to a matched general population, they're more likely to access the health system. They're more likely to be hospitalized, visit a physician, or fill a prescription for a medication in the 5 years leading up to MS onset. We think it may go back further than 5 years, but we were able to really hone in on those 5 years. And we're also observing a huge range of reasons that they're accessing the health system, things like pain, migraine, sleep disturbances, GI, gastrointestinal issues, irritable bowel syndrome, more visits to dermatologists, so a huge range, increased risk of fibromyalgia during that period as well. So a huge range of issues, and some of the more recent work that my team have been involved with is looking at more of the heterogeneity, trying to unpack that prodromal phase. So we'll be presenting at ECTRIMS on age and sex differences during the MS prodrome and how that influences features of the MS prodrome. So just 2 points I wanted to make talking about the prodrome. One is the so what question, or what can we do with this information? Because there's a lot going on here and there's a lot we still don't fully understand. So first I would say to people is that now we're starting to recognize this prodromal phase does exist in MS. There's a lot more we don't fully understand. If we want to know what causes multiple sclerosis, I think we as researchers have to be really, really careful to take into account the prodromal phase, so we don't inadvertently think that something causes MS when that individual is already in the prodromal phase of MS. So I think that's a real key point, something we can do with this information right now. And I'm pleased to see that people are already doing that when they're thinking about what might cause MS, that they're factoring in this prodromal phase. We're trying to take account of it. And then the second sort of lofty goal we have with the prodromal phase, which I think will become a reality, but there's just some way to go, is the fact this prodromal phase exists indicates that there is an opportunity to recognize, identify people with MS earlier in their disease course, and potentially then more effectively manage their disease with the hope of positively impacting long-term outcomes, whether that's by reducing disability progression that may occur in the future. So That's why my team are really focused on trying to understand and characterize this prodromal phase in more detail so that we can take that step forward and see if we can use those features of EMS prodrome to identify people earlier.